So in today's video, I'm going to be going over a project that I think executes almost perfectly at what teams in this space should be delivering. Now, I've been watching My Pet Hooligans for the past 2 years. I've been watching from the sidelines, haven't jumped in, but I've watched the way they execute, and this is an ideal project for you to learn from. And then also, we'll take a look at it from an investment point of view. Now, before I get started, remember that none of this is financial advice. The crypto market is extremely risky and volatile, and most people lose their money. So make sure you do your own due diligence and research before you get in. And like all my videos, none of these are sponsored videos. I will always disclose a position if I have it in a project. We'll be covering all aspects of this project. We're going to take a look at the project. What is this game? How far is it in terms of development? We'll look at the marketing. Who are all the KOLs and all the investors? I think a lot of people in this space underestimate marketing, but it's actually a critically important piece in order to get the word out. Finally, we'll look at tokenomics, and then we'll look at the price and look at the charts and see where is a good entry for this project should you decide to get into something like this. So let's get started. So the best way to understand this game is actually by taking a look at the footage of this game. If we just take a look at the trailer of the game and then also the gameplay as well, you can see right away they are delivering AAA quality material. This game will rival any Web3 AAA game. It actually reminds me of the quality that the Illuvium team is delivering. That's how high quality I think of this game. So it's built on Unreal Engine 5. So you can see and feel the quality just like most other AAA titles that are in Web 2 right now. And we just jump right over to their website. There are 3 game modes within this game. So number 1 is Coinpocalypse, okay? Coinpocalypse, think about it as simply battle royale, where you're battling against each other, and then you're also wagering your coins as well, because every time, you start with coins, you drop them as you get eliminated. So I think that's pretty cool. The next game mode right over here is Anarchy. So Anarchy is basically an all-out, shootout. So that sounds pretty fun right over here. And then finally, Hangout. So Hangout is a little bit more relaxed, where you're wandering around. It's an open world, you're exploring things. So I think that there is a game mode for everybody within this game. Now, 2 major things that put this team ahead of other teams in the Web3 gaming space right away. Number 1 is that the game actually looks good. It's AAA quality. Number 2 is that they have an actual product, whereas there's a lot of teams promising building castle in the sky, and they take forever and you never ever see the product. Now, I've been tracking this project since 2020. So it has been 2 years, but they've rolled out a great product, at least their MVP right out of the door. If you take a look right over here, you can see in the Epic Game Store, My Pet Hooligan is already available. So we can see the trailer right over here. It's available for download, and it is available for people to get as an early access. Now, if you take a look right down here, you can actually see that there are skins that you can purchase. These are in-game skins, okay? These are in-game assets that you will see. They are not necessarily the NFT, which is a separate collection, but they are in-game skin assets that you can purchase. So you can see that they've already rolled it out. That's a huge milestone for any game. The last game that reminded me about progress and quality that is like this is actually Illuvium. And those of you who are following the channel will know that I'm a big fan of Illuvium ILV. So besides the Epic Game Store, they've also gone on to Amazon Prime as well. So if you take a look at Prime Gaming right over here, that is huge. It shows me execution. It shows me that this team knows how to get things done. So if you go over to the Prime Gaming and you click on one of these, it's in-game assets as well. You can see that it's available to May 8th. So in 9 days, it'll be available right over here that you can actually get in-game content. But I think that it is really cool that this team is executing some big major partnerships right out of the door. And then finally, where this team is positioning itself, I think is one of the smartest moves. It's not just a Web3 game that can rival Web2 AAA games, but they've also positioned themselves between gaming and AI. If you read and take a careful look at their project, that they talk about how you can pilot your avatars in real time, engage with AI-driven characters, own your digital assets. They're using motion capture technologies, AI, and blockchain, which would all be a part of this My Pet Hooligans technology stack, empowering gamers to stay more connected and excited and reward that gameplay experience that everybody is looking for. So just in summary, in terms of the gameplay and where they position themselves, I think that they have done it smartly. If we look back, they talk about the early alpha being released in Epic Games, which is exactly what they're doing. They were voted as the best action game in December of 2023. So this award was just given to them then. And then right over here, they say alongside with blockchain technology, the My Pet Hooligan games will feature cutting-edge motion capture and AI technology to foster a greater connection between players and the game. At the heart of it, this is where this team is positioning themselves. Now, we're going to go over important points in this white paper, but I just wanted to quickly summarize it for you in terms of the gameplay and the positioning of this project right away. The next thing to look at is marketing. I think that marketing is one of those arts and one of those critical elements that a lot of people, founders, projects, and also communities don't pay attention to, but it can actually make or break a project. You can quickly see that they have a lot of strategic partners and KOLs who will get the word out there along with investors. Now, we mentioned Epic Games and Prime Gaming. Those are huge, okay? You talk about Polygon, Delphi Digital, which are invested in most people, and of course, the gorilla in the room is NVIDIA. So they're factoring AI into this as well. There's many great companies and investors within here. Now, taking a look at their KOL, you'll see a lot of names that you recognize. Yes, you don't need all of the big names on your list in order for you to do well. But at the same time, you have to pay attention to this because they're going to be able to get the word out there much more quickly than a project can by itself. So obviously everybody recognizes Alex Becker. You have Elio Trades. These are two big names within Web3, but specifically within the gaming Web3 niche. The minute that Becker talks about it or Elio Trades talks about it, those projects, they go rocket up. Now, remember that this project has been over 2-3 years. This is not popping up overnight so that influencers can pump and dump on you. And then they have a couple other people that are notable on here. I know Crypto God John always posts. Virtual Bacon I see as a big good creator who talks about solid stuff. And you have a lot of the Web3 gaming folks on here. Also, they're angel investors, right? You have Mark Cuban. Not to say that, great angel investors will result in great projects. This is venture capital. Remember that 9 out of 10 projects will fail. Paris Hilton, Tony Robbins, Eric Yuan, these are all people who are recognized within their space who can get the word out there. So let's talk about the AMGI gaming studio behind this project because these are some bold claims. On one hand, they're saying they're going to develop a AAA Web3 game that rivals any Web2 games. They're at the intersection of entertainment and then also AI driven as well. If you just take a look right over here, this is their website. You can go through their website and you can see for yourself in terms of the projects there. Now, if you go to the case studies on the white paper, who is AMGI Studios, okay? So they talk about a very big team. So you got 60 people in this team of artists, game developers, AI developers, animators, Web3 creative people. Their experience ranges from AI, gaming, and animations with very senior positions who have worked for Disney, Pixar, Riot Games, Warner Brothers, EA. These are some of the biggest titles within the entertainment gaming business, okay? And then they have solid partners, as we saw Epic Games, NVIDIA, and actually Coldplay. Yes, the music band Coldplay, and you're going to see that. Polygon Labs, and then the YGG is right here, Delphi Digital, and so on and so forth when we saw the investors and backers. Now, if you have time, you can actually go through the senior management. So this is a fully doxed team of experienced people. I just want to mention Luke Paglia, right over here, their COO, to Chief Operating Officers. If you go through and you can see, he's worked with major clients such as Apple, Toyota, and most recently, his work was credited on the music video that he worked on with Coldplay and BTS, My Universe. And if we just jump right over here onto their Twitter, you could see this is what they're talking about, okay? This is what Luke was credited with. So thank you, Coldplay and BTS. So for those of people who live under a rock, BTS is the Korean K-pop band that's probably one of the most popular, if not popular, in the world. And of course, our beloved Coldplay. I listen to Coldplay all the time. So let's talk about the KARRAT protocol and the KARRAT token, the token that will power this My Pet Hooligans universe. So I want you to separate those two concepts. If you look at the white paper right over here, they talk about how they're going to empower gaming, AI, entertainment ecosystem. The KARRAT protocol is the decentralized gaming infrastructure layer, And the KARRAT token is going to be the token that powers this entire community. They talk about how this KARRAT token is going to be positioned to support both, gaming and entertainment. So the KARRAT will animate this ecosystem of games and products, and the protocols will make tools available to support these industry and the adoption. That's the key, the adoption of the KARRAT protocol. So I think KARRAT is going to benefit from so much more than just My Pet Hooligans, because it is the token that powers this entire economy. Let's take a look at the tokenomics now. So coming right over here, we can see the KARRAT token. It's an ERC20 token like most other tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. Here's the contract address, and if you quickly scroll down, you can see that the supply is 1 billion with no inflation, and of course it's a layer 1 minting. Now I'm going to show you a different graph because it helps me understand. So if we go right over here and take a look at the token distribution and allocation, right? So the DAO, that's the treasury, they get 30%, the team and advisors get 15%, development 15%, foundation is 14%, and then the early contributors 12.3%, and then early contributors number 2 7.7%, all for 100%. Now if you take a look right down here, you can see that the unlocking schedule, there's 3% that's unlocked. Most of the other tokens are locked. So I'm going to come right down here so that it's easier for everybody to see. In terms of the vesting schedule, the team and advisors, those are the people who got 15%, 150 tokens, 150 million tokens. They only have 10% that's unlocked at TGE, so that's already unlocked for them. You can see right over here, the next time the unlocking that's going to happen for them is in 355 days, and in terms of that allocation. Same thing with development, it's 10%. And then the airdrop, those 60 million KARRAT tokens, about 83% was unlocked immediately on the airdrop, and that makes sense. Now, how do I think about this and put it together? Okay, so if you look here in 6 months time, in September, October, that's where you get the major unlocking, okay? And then after that, if you take a look at individual ones like this development, it unlocks in 173 days, only 0.28%, so 2.7 million tokens, and the rest of it is between 2024 and 2028, okay? So they're very explicit and clear about this, so they're gonna unlock over 4 years. Now, if we turn this into a chart, which makes it much easier to look at. If you look at October, the total number of tokens that's unlocked is about 9.81%, so roughly 10% in October. So yes, there's a huge dilution to come. We're going to use this to our advantage. I know a lot of times when you see huge dilutions, you want to run away from those projects, and that's a great thought. But by knowing the vesting schedule, you're going to be better positioned to enter even good projects who have a large inflationary pressure, because you're not going to jump in right now. At least in my own personal opinion, I wouldn't jump in when I'm going to get diluted like 90%. But take a look right over here. If you go from October to November, that's a difference of about 1.2, 1.3%. And every single month after that, if you go to December, you can see it's 12.3. If you go to January of 2025, that's at 13.5, and then 14.8%. So if you factor it all in, it's roughly between 1.2 and 1.5%, sometimes higher, every single month after that October period. So you got to keep that in your mind. Okay, so when we think about getting into projects, I also look at the FDV, so the fully diluted value. So when we take a look at the charts, remember those dates. Key date is on October of this year. It's going to be 10%. Okay. You still have 90% to go, but recall that most of it happens over 1 to 1.5% every single month. So if you factor that out every single year, you should get roughly 15%, okay, or a little bit more. So that's what you're looking at in terms of the vesting schedule. Okay, let's get to the chart. Let's talk about price and let's see where it's going. So it trades under the ticker name of KARRAT, okay? So right over here, right now, it is trading at a market cap of 87 million. On the first day that it dropped, it pretty much traded up right over here. So I'm going to go right over here. As you can see, traded roughly above $1. Okay, so above $100 million. And then in terms of the volume, daily volume is pretty good, 8.2 million, okay? And then in terms of circulation, we're at 9.5%, which will go closer to 10% as we get to October. And they talk about this, total supply, 1 billion KARRAT token total supply. Now, this is absolute normal behavior for a new token. It's gonna dump, people get the airdrops, it's always gonna dump. I never buy out of the gate for this reason, because you just can't tell with price if it's gonna shoot up, but most of the time it dumps. I want you to take a look right here. Now, why is it important to look at the markets? Think about this project, okay? A well-executed team comes out literally within days, okay? So they come out within days. It's not a meme coin, but it's a well-executed team from all of the stuff we talked about. They're already listed on Coinbase, KuCoin, Gate.io, Crypto, Crypto.com. These are some of the biggest names within the business. I don't see Binance here, but eventually it's going to come, okay? So on Coinbase right now, and if you look at the volume, there's pretty good volume. And of course, you can buy it on the decentralized exchange like Uniswap. But I just wanted to make a point about, a good marketing team, well-executed team right away out of the door gets almost all the major exchanges. Now, I've seen a lot of projects that have been working for 2, 3 years, 4 years, and they can't get a single exchange listing. That's what I mean by this is a well-executed team. Now, let's get back to the chart right over here and talk about price entries, okay? So for me, remember the vesting schedule? Right now, we're trading at 70 cents. It's already down about, 30 cents from where it dropped, but for me, I know this is going to be diluted because the FDV, the fully diluted value, is roughly about like 8-10 times, right? You're going to get diluted 90% as we go along. Remember the key milestones, okay? We're just going to come right back here. I'm just going to remind you, is in October, it's going to be about 10% that is released, and then it's about 1% after that, okay? Now, I'm going to switch it to this timeline because it helps me think about it. I think about it in terms of where will the bull market end, in terms of after the Bitcoin halving, okay? For me, I watch it between 15 and 18 months. So if the Bitcoin halving is April of this year, by April of next year, I'm already thinking about getting out because Bitcoin may go to 100,000, 150,000, even 200, 250,000. Who knows where it's going? Nobody has a crystal ball, but I want to be out at that time. So at that time period in April of next year, so we know it's going to be 10%. It's going to be about 1%, 1%, 1% as we get up there. So there'll be probably, going from October to April, that's roughly 6 months. Add on another 6, 8, 10%, will probably be at 20%. So I'm watching the price. So I'm going to go back to the price. If the price dumps hard, okay, and when I say dump hard, let's say it went back to 40 mil, this thing halves, okay? A lot of people get confused with my video. I talk about projects and then they go and they ape into it. What do I always say? I say, wait for a good entry. And you gotta have some, rhyme and rhythm, and you have to have some research and methodology behind it before you jump in. So for me, if this thing dumps to about half of this, I'm thinking to take a position because even if it, fully dilutes, we're talking about future dilution all the way up to 2028. That's only 400 million. But I know that I'm probably going to get out between sort of April and September or April and October of 2025. I'm going to get out well before that. So the max that I will see in terms of dilution is another 10%. So that's the way I think about these charts, okay? So I want you to, it's important for you to go through and think about the math behind the vesting schedule because a lot of the times I take positions in project, not the day I talk about it. Sometimes I would have taken positions before that, but most of the time, a lot of people are upset and they say, why don't you talk about these coins when they're 2, 3 million? That's when you're at your highest risk and it can dump and go to crap the next day. Now that we've gone through all of those information, you can see what I mean by this is a well-executed team and project. Not only do they have a great product, they know how to market this product, and at the same time, they know how to execute this project with the right founders and the experience behind this team. This is not some random team sitting in their basement with 2, 3 guys, trying to execute this project. This is a big team executing a big project. And then finally, with the vesting structure, keep the key dates in mind if you are considering this project. I hope that you like what you heard in this video and that you learned something value for your own journey in crypto. So if you do, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.